Well, it's the year of Halloween Kills, and what better time to count down my top 50 moments of the Halloween franchise. Let's do this. What's up, guys? We are in the beginning of 2021. Halloween Kills is coming out this year according to Jason Blum. And I'm excited because I'm going to do my top 50 moments of the Halloween franchise. There will be some kills in here, but I'd say mostly it's going to be just moments. Just moments that kind of shaped the franchise for what it is. Moments that gave us chill bumps along the way. And by the way, I spent the last 2 days just putting this list together. You would think it would be hard to come up with 50 moments, and I probably had like 70, and I had to narrow it down. And constantly when I'm going through these, I'll think of another one and I'll have to swap one out. So it's not out of the ordinary for me to literally change something in real time when I'm doing these, all right? Maybe not. Hopefully I get everything tightened up, but we shall see. Number 50. This is You Don't Know What Death Is from Halloween 2. If I'm talking about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I'll call it that, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. But the original Halloween 2 jumps right off of Halloween 1978, Loomis coming out of the house. You got Tommy Lee Wallace's voice saying, "I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight." And then, of course, that famous line by Loomis, "You don't know what death is." Number 49, from Halloween 1, the superstition scene. This scene's always kind of fascinated me because it's just a nice little scene that sticks out. Laurie, she just gets home from her walk with Annie and Linda, and she sees these trick-or-treaters. And she just walks right up towards the camera, and she says, "Well, kiddo, I always thought you outgrew superstition." And it's just a line that sticks out amongst the pack for some reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like a superstitious type of line, hence her saying superstition. But there's always been kind of a mystery to the line. It's strange. Number 48 from Halloween 5, the opening where you see Myers coming out of that cavern after it's blown up, and you see him like floating down the stream. I don't know, there's something cool about that scene. And I will say Halloween 5, for as bad as it is, it does have some really eye-catching scenes, eye-catching moments, and that is definitely one of them. 47 from Halloween 2018, the gotcha scene. Say what you want about this last act. It's controversial. There's people that don't like it. There's people that say it's kind of repetitive. But one of the really cool moments is Karen, because throughout most of the movie, she seems like she's scared all the time. You know, she's defied this training that she's received from her mother. And then we have that moment where we think she's going to cower and run away, and no, she does the old switcheroo and she says, "Gotcha," and then she shoots Myers right in the cheek. Number 46 from Halloween 3, it's the It's Almost Time montage. This scene in particular really gets me in the Halloween spirit, the holiday spirit. We're going into Samhain from day to night, and I think the scene, the montage is directed beautifully by Tommy Lee Wallace, and you see all these kids trick-or-treating in different cities around the nation, and it's just a beautifully done scene, and like I said, it really gets me in the spirit. Number 45 from Halloween 2, listen to old Bud. Bud is one of my favorite underrated characters, comedic characters in the franchise, and everybody remembers the scene where he's sitting at the table and they're talking about what's going on in the news. He sings that disgusting song, Amazing Grace. I'm not going to do it, but then Jimmy gives him a little bit of lip, and then he says, "Where you going, college boy?" Listen to old Bud. Number 44, from the original Halloween, He's Gonna Get You. And by the way, you're gonna probably see a lot of moments from the original Halloween, and you're gonna see a lot less moments from some of the shittier sequels. But The he's gonna get you scene is, I don't know, it's just a really cool scene that, you know, the kids, they are bullying young Tommy and he falls on the pumpkin. Before that, they're chanting, he's gonna get you, he's gonna get you, he's gonna get you. That's such a famous line, even sampled in Rob Zombie's Boogeyman song perfectly. And then it ends on a nice crescendo when little Lonnie's running around and Myers catches him. And you get the nice stinger. So it kind of flips on Lonnie and Myers is gonna get you. Number 43, one of the few, if any, from Halloween Resurrection, the head chop. This is a nice scene because you take a light moment and you turn it into an oh shit moment. Because everybody just found out what Freddy's up to, acting like Myers, but then all of a sudden you get Katie Sackhoff at the top of the steps. Myers comes around, the real Myers, and he chops her freaking head off. And you also get like a 1-2 punch because after that, then he grabs the other guy by the head and squeezes and the blood comes out of his eyes. That's a really badass scene, actually. Number 42 from Halloween 5, the tension in Mike's car with Tina. Tina thinks her boyfriend Mike is driving her, but what she doesn't know is that Myers actually just killed Mike recently because Mike is a douche. And so it's a cool scene because Myers has a different mask on. It's one of the few scenes in the franchise where Myers is not wearing the iconic Shatner mask. But there's a lot of tension in that scene. It's confined, it's inside the car, and you see Tina like flirting with him, and then all of a sudden as she backs up, she realizes that something seems a little off. I love that scene where he grips the steering wheel, and that was Don Shank's idea, by the way. Brilliant idea. Number 41, Rob Zombie's Halloween, Joe Grizzly, bitch. I like this scene. It's just really funny. It might not really fit in tone with the rest of the franchise, but it's Rob Zombie. I just like the, you know, it's a little standoff. Joe Grizzly is a worthy opponent against Myers. He's a big guy. He happens to be taking a crap on the toilet. There's so many freaking toilet scenes in the franchise. And you got a mud-toed Myers just standing outside the stall, and they're face to face, and then they go at it, and they tear that stall apart. But we have that famous line, I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch. Number 40 from Halloween 4, the ambulance massacre. You have the doctor and the nurse inside the ambulance. They're transporting Myers. And then, you know, they just have this nice little conversation. And then, boom, all of a sudden, Myers wakes up and his thumb goes right into the doctor's forehead and slams it against the wall. It's a shocking scene. It's one of the coolest kills in the franchise. And it probably cost $1.50 to produce. Number 39 from Halloween 1978, Bob Stab. You got Bob, he's in the kitchen, he's getting Linda a beer, and you know, Carpenter building that tension, great atmosphere in the scene, you know, and then we just wait, and then all of a sudden, we know what happens. Bob opens that door, and here comes Myers out, lifts him up, and hangs him by the knife. A lot of people said that knife wouldn't probably hold Bob, but for cinematic effect, it looks amazing. And I'll even say it's probably one of the most striking images out of the whole franchise. Number 38 from Halloween 5, the Uncle Let Me See scene. This might be a controversial scene. I don't hear people talk about it that much, but I remember when Halloween 5 first came out, it was even advertised that we would finally see Myers' face. And I'm not putting it on the list because we see his face, but just because of the connection between Jamie and Myers. I've always been fascinated with the family link, a guy that wants to kill everybody in his bloodline. I find that really interesting, actually. And so this was just a nice little antidote to that. Maybe only Myers' family and Loomis could actually get to the guy. And for just a brief second, Jamie gets to him before, you know, the switch flips, and then he goes crazy again. But we even see Myers cry. There's like a tear in his eye. So it's kind of a nice moment in a bad movie. Number 37 from Halloween 2018, The Shape Burns. Again, controversial scene, and I think I'm putting this on here just because the actual track, The Shape Burns, on the score. And by the way, the score for Halloween 2018 is probably my favorite score out of the whole franchise, maybe even topping the first. It is that brilliant, and I just love how this scene is directed, you know, with the music on top of it. And you're just seeing Myers there with the fire behind him. We know he's going to get out. And I like it. It's just a nice looking scene. Number 36 from Rob Zombie's Halloween, the Mask Reunion. This is the first time Myers, he just broke out of Smiths Grove Sanitarium. And then he goes to his house. and he rips up the floorboards and pulls out the old mask. I liked how they handled the mask in this movie too, that it was somebody else's mask, 15 years ago, and then Myers buries it, under the floorboards and just pulls it up, and it looks all ratty and dirty, and he puts it on, and it's just a cool scene, when he's holding the mask up to him, and you hear the theme. Number 35 from Halloween 6, a nice moment for Dr. Loomis. At the end of the movie, very end of the movie, theatrical cut, when Tommy and Cara are in the Jeep and they're saying, come with us. And he says, no, I have something I need to attend to. And it's just a nice little send-off for Loomis. Just the way that scene is directed, camera pulling back, and just a sad moment, and that's a moment that's always stuck with me, because this was the last time we would ever see Loomis in the franchise, or at least Donald Pleasance, and to me that's the only way. Number 34 from Halloween 4, the opening transfer. It's really the opening scene when they're going to grab Myers, and you got this security guard, and he's got this great little speech. This guy you're picking up, he killed 16 people. It's a great scene to really set up the plot of the movie, let those that might not have seen the previous movies know who Myers is, how many people he killed, and the one line where he says, Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this place. Just this place is a place for the mad, the crazy, the evil. I've always liked that scene, and plus you see Myers with the bandage on. It's badass. Number 33, Halloween 6. Jamie escaping Smith's Grove at the beginning. I put this scene on here because of just the atmosphere. This scene is just completely bathed in atmosphere when she's coming out of that cellar door and it's raining and there's just this like blue tinge to the scene. Then Myers coming out, the music. I mean, this is filmmaking in its best form, When all these different elements come together to create magic, chill bumps. That's what this scene is to me. It's atmospheric chill bumps. And the conditions in that scene, freezing cold, like J.C. Brandy almost called it hypothermia. She was that cold doing the scene. This is in Utah, I believe in like January, February time frame. Number 32, Halloween 5, the laundry chute scene. Another cool scene from the movie, actually. Like I said, Halloween 5, it's a bad movie made up of some pretty cool scenes. And this is one that people do talk about a lot, and it's one of those that put Danielle Harris in danger as a child, when she was doing that scene. They were using a real knife. And it is a scary ass scene too. This little kid, and you got Myers just, up to this point, we know there's no holding back. He wants to kill her. And she can't escape. She's confined in this laundry chute. Where can she go? He's at the top, he's at the bottom. Knife going through. Just some scary stuff. Number 31, Halloween 4. Brady redeeming himself, I guess, because there's this scene where the shit starts hitting the fan. They're at the landing up the steps. Myers is coming up the steps for Rachel and Jamie, and the only thing between them is Brady. And this is a nice moment where a character redeems themselves, I think they handled Brady beautifully in this movie because he's not a bad guy. He's flawed. He makes mistakes. He's young, And so he kind of screwed Rachel over earlier in the movie, even though, were they technically dating? I don't think so. But he ends up giving his life to save Rachel and Jamie. So you end up loving the character. But it's a great scene too because, he's willing to fight Myers knowing he's probably going to die. And Myers picks him up, that freaking iconic kill, snaps his neck. Great stuff. Number 30, H2O, the opening with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the nurse, Marion Chambers. It's a good scene. It's a great start to the movie. I have my problems with H2O, but it opened up with a bang. I will say that. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt added some nice comedy to the mix, going in the house to check it out for Marion and stealing her beers and everything and then coming back out. But then later to find out he's got an ice skate to the face, which is a nice kill. Number 29, Annie from Halloween 1, her kill. This is one of the few kills that are in the countdown actually, but this is an iconic scene actually, And it's another lesson in Carpenter just stretching out a scene because that's really what the first Halloween is. It's not a kill every 15 minutes. So by the time she does get killed, it's shocking. You never expect it to happen. Because she's like doing the laundry. She goes inside the house, she goes back outside the house, to get to the car. Just all this stuff's going on. So then when she finally sits in there, Myers comes from behind. You know, you got the nice stinger score there. And just a very well done scene. And again, very cheap to shoot. I don't think an ounce of blood was dropped in this scene. Number 28, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I call it the Knights in White Satin scene, the opening in the hospital. It's a great freaking scene. And really, this is the start of the dream sequence, I think. Rob Zombie even confirmed this. It's from the Knights in White Satin scene. You know, and then Laurie's getting up. She sees Myers coming after poor Octavia Spencer. And Octavia Spencer might get the most brutal kill out of the whole franchise. But that scene is like, it's like the original Halloween 2 on steroids. It's like an homage to the original Halloween 2. But man, it's a beautifully shot scene. And I think the 16mm just adds to it. Number 27, Halloween 3, the eye pull. That's what I call it. Beginning of the movie, you got the guy holding on to the mask. Ellie Grimbrich's father. One of the robots comes up and he literally grabs the old guy by the eye sockets and pulls, and you can hear like the bones cracking. When you first see Halloween 3, not knowing that these are robots, it's just such an off-putting scene. There's something eerie and really creepy about it. And it's a very unique kill. Like, how often do you see a kill like that where somebody, you know, we see people gouge eyes all the time, but then to pull the bones from the nose up, it's pretty gnarly. 26, Halloween 2, Ben Tramer's death. Everybody loves this scene. There's all this chaos going on. Myers is out there. They don't know where he is. You see Loomis and the deputy, they kind of cause his death because Ben Tramer, he's just walking and he sees all this commotion going on, and then boom, he gets hit by the cop car into the ambulance, and big explosion, crazy shit. And you know, Loomis, he's got to deal with another person just got killed, and it wasn't even Myers that did it. Hell, Ben Tramer's death might be more violent than most of Myers. Number 25, the first Halloween, Linda, See Anything You Like scene. I'm gonna have a few of these scenes, these, I guess, titillating, sexy scenes in the countdown, and this is probably one of the most popular, where she tells Bob to go get her a beer. He comes back, of course it's not Bob, it's Myers. And she pulls the sheet down, she says, "See anything you like?" And we all saw something we liked. Number 24, F off Wade. I don't know if the scene has caught on as much as I think it should have caught on. In Killer Flicks, Wade is a huge iconic character. I have a t-shirt that you can go buy at the Drumdums store with Wade on it. And we love Wade. And I figured, why not put him on the list? It's such a great, out of left field, funny scene. And I think these little comedic moments, they break the tension in the franchise, because for the most part, it's a serious franchise. But, you know, you got that moment where Brady is betting Wade that he can't get Kelly Meeker to go out with him. And of course, Kelly Meeker tells him, fuck off Wade. Number 23, Halloween 2018, bathroom scene. One of my favorite kills of the franchise, just because of the emotion there. This was really the first time we realized that David Gordon Green and company were not fucking around. This scene is brutal. And you got Aaron coming in there and he's helpless. He can't really do anything to save his girlfriend. And so he gets like a massive beating before Myers even gets to her. And so just that look on his face, because he's alive and he has to hear Dana dying. And it's a really, it might be one of the most emotional, it is the most emotional scene of the franchise in terms of deaths. Actually, I take that back. We'll get to that one. Number 22, Rob Zombie's Halloween, Judith's kill. This is a very graphic kill, and I'm glad that Zombie didn't just straight up copy the iconic Judith kill in the original. He made it his own, and he made it extremely graphic because she doesn't think her little brother's gonna do this, and then he stabs her. And then I just think visually it's an interesting scene, because then we see her walking out and then Myers comes out after her. It's the kid, he puts on the mask, but for some reason it still worked. It was still scary. And you know, it's just a very bloody scene. There's blood all over the place. You know, that's Rob Zombie's style. But I think that scene is probably one of the most chilling scenes in the entire movie. Number 21, Halloween 6, the pipe beatdown. I really like the theatrical final act over the producer's cut. I think the producer's cut, I don't know, I think it's just kind of cheesy. I don't like Myers going up against rocks, you know? This was just much more visceral, and it still had some of those crazy like psychedelic elements, you know, because they're inside this lab and you see all these like fetuses and whatnot. But it's an intense scene. It's Tommy having to trick Myers, and he pumps this freaking serum in him, and then he just beats the hell out of him with a bat. And we're rooting for him. Number 20, another one from Halloween 6, the Spike kill. It's just a nice entrance for Myers in the movie. He just kind of comes out of nowhere. You got the nurse trying to help Jamie escape, and then behind her we see Myers coming out of the shadows, and he lifts her up and he just like slams her head up against that spike. Yeah, I'm putting it on here for the kill, but I'm also putting it on here because it's just one of those awesome entrances of the character Myers. He looks badass in the scene. And that nurse, she didn't stand a chance. And Myers is pissed in this scene. You can tell just by the way he slams her head on there. It was a way to clue the audience in that this is a Myers that is not screwing around whatsoever. Number 19, Halloween 5, Tina's death. All right, I know Tina has garnered a fan base out there, and I think that's awesome, but I think Tina is annoying as shit. She did redeem herself a little bit though by giving her life for Jamie, so that's why I put it on here. It is nice to see that she was willing to finally put her own selfish needs aside and actually try to help Jamie out. You know, do Jamie a solid, and she did. She did Jamie a solid. She died. Number 18, Halloween 2018, the Courtyard scene. To me, this scene is so freaking iconic, and I remember seeing this in the theater and just getting chill bumps, you know? Because just imagine Myers, just imagine we haven't seen him in like 40 years, and so he's just standing there still. Everybody else around him is just moving and, you know, being, I guess, mental. But Myers, you know, he's Myers. He doesn't move whatsoever. And then you got Aaron just like wanting to hear him say something, you know, holding the mask up. It's just such an iconic scene. And then it just ends on this crescendo because then they break into the pumpkin intro, which is an intro that we haven't seen since Halloween 2. Number 17, Halloween 6, the behind you scene. It's near the last act, the beginning of the last act of the movie. And you got Cara looking through the window, through the periscope. Is that a periscope? And she sees Beth across the way. And Myers is behind Beth. And she's saying, Beth, behind you. And she's got to watch her friend get stabbed to death repeatedly. And then, to make it even worse, after she's done, she looks down and she sees her son Danny walking into that same house. I remember seeing that in the theater and just being like, wow, that's how you double up the tension in a scene. Number 16, Halloween 3, the ending. Stop it. Dan Chalice, he thinks he might have saved the day. You know, he's calling up the stations. They're killing the programs, but there's one that they weren't able to kill, and he's just, you know, he's just screaming. We all know the scene. We love the scene. He's like, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it, turn it off, stop it, stop it. Okay, these top 15 right here, these are moneymakers. These are badass scenes. These are iconic, so get ready. Number 15, first Halloween, closet. One of the most iconic kill scenes ever. You probably see fan art for this scene all over the place. You know, Laurie Strode waiting in the closet, Myers slamming through the closet doors, and you know, it's just a scary as hell scene. And I like that she turns the light on and then she turns the light off, and it's just as scary with the light on, maybe even more scary. And then you hear like Myers' pronounced breathing. You know, we've heard his breathing earlier on, but not to this level, and the breathing just makes it that much more creepy. Number 14, Halloween 4, the rooftop scene. This is one of the best sequences, I think, in Halloween 4, really in the franchise, because again, it's like doubling up the tension. You have this cold roof that Jamie and Rachel are trying to climb. Rachel's trying to save Jamie. So that alone right there is scary, but then she looks behind her and Myers is coming up. So it's like double the trouble. And Myers is coming after her, and you know, she's lowering Jamie down, and then, you know, she has to let her go because she has to turn around because Myers is about to kill her. It's a nail-biting scene. Number 13, H2O, face to face. The first time that Laurie Strode and Myers come face to face is a really cool moment. And this is 20 years later. They haven't seen each other in 20 years. And, you know, all this tension's going on with her son and the girlfriend. And then like right up to the second she comes up, and then Laurie just looks through the window. What a shot. Number 12, Halloween 2018, The Shape returns. This is the first time we see Myers in the mask doing his thing, and it's a beautifully shot scene. It's one or two takes. It might be just one take with Myers walking through. Feels like kind of an homage to Halloween 2 at first, coming through the house, coming out. And by the way, this scene is the best lit scene in the entire movie. It looks like Halloween. It's got a little bit of an orange and a blue mix to it. One reason we love the Halloween franchise so much is just how atmospheric it is, how colorful it is. Halloween itself, it's just a beautiful month. You know, it's got that creep factor to it, and the colors add to that. And that's why this scene works so well. And especially when he goes into that one house and he's coming through, you know, and he sticks the knife through the lady's neck and then slams her head down. I mean, Myers was not holding back in this scene. Started off with a nice hammer beat down. What more could you ask for? And that tension when he's passing the baby, because he had already killed a child earlier. So I just remember the gasp in the theater when he's standing over the baby like, oh my God, is he gonna kill the baby? Jesus. Number 11, Halloween 2, Eye Shot. The finale of Halloween 2, Loomis is giving his life for Laurie, and she's just sitting there in the corner. You know, luckily she's got that gun, and Myers is coming towards her, and it's just another visually striking scene. You know, she holds the gun up, boom, boom, shoots him in both eye sockets, and you see the blood come down. Beautifully done shot. Say what you want about Rick Rosenthal, but man, I think he kicked ass with Halloween 2. Top 10, guys. Here we go. Number 10, the iconic sit-up from Halloween 1. I told you there's going to be a lot from the first Halloween in here, and we're not even done yet. That sit-up scene is just so unique. Even today, over 40 years later, it's still such a cool-looking scene. And you know, that's a filmmaker right there. With the blur in the back, and you got Laurie in focus, and then all of a sudden, we see Myers just sit up. And I think because Myers is blurred, it just makes it that much creepier. And we've seen Carpenter use this effect in quite a few of his scenes to scare an audience. But this scene's great for a couple of factors. One, it is scary. Two, it is visually interesting. And three, it's very creative. And it stood the test of time. It's still one of the scenes that the sequels try to replicate, I guess to pay homage to it, but you know, you can't match this scene. It's perfectly constructed. Like, this is a scene they should teach in film school, for sure. Number 9, Halloween 2018, the prison transfer scream. My God, this scene was so emotional. Up to this point, we already know that Laurie Strode is a basket case, and she wants to be there when Myers transfers because she wants to make sure everything goes according to plan. And you just see this build up. You hear Loomis over the radio, man, whoever did that Loomis voice freaking nailed it. And I think 10 times better than the Loomis voiceover in H2O. To me, the crescendo of the scene is her scream. You know, the music is just building and building, and then we see Laurie just scream. It's like a primal scream, you know? She's trying to cope with what she's been having to deal with for the last 40 years. And just the idea of him escaping sends her over the edge. Number 8, H2O decap. This was the ending that floored everybody. Like, I remember when I saw this, I was just like, wow, she just chopped his freaking head off. And at the time I thought, well, no more Halloween, because at that time they weren't doing remakes that often at all. So the thought of a remake wasn't even there yet. But this felt like the end of something, you know? And then of course they had to come back with Resurrection and ruin it. But man, what an ending. Like, by far probably the best ending of the franchise. In terms of, you know, balls and just finality. It's not my favorite overall ending of the franchise, but I get why people love this scene so much. Number 7, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, Annie's death. This is the most emotional death scene of the franchise. That's what I was hinting at earlier. Just the way this scene was handled. You know, I think Rob Zombie, this might be one of his best directed scenes. And it's a lesson in how effective music can be. That little music piece that he uses in that scene, and it's not a music piece that we've heard before in the franchise, but just seeing Laurie with her friend Annie in her arms, and you know, there was never this like closure between Laurie and Annie. There was always this friction between the two. So the last memory that she has of Annie is just friction. And now she's got to deal with her friend's death. violently. It's a violent death. She's covered in blood. And just seeing Laurie, her head going back, and she's just like, I can't do that. I can't do this anymore. And then after that, her father comes in. Brad Dourif's performance. Wow. I mean, how's that for emotion? Number 6, Halloween, an iconic. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. My favorite speech in horror history. Just the performance by Donald Pleasence. He makes it look effortless. He makes it look easy. That's the power of Donald Pleasence. We forget that this guy is such a great actor. Can you imagine anybody else playing the character of Loomis? You got a great actor like Malcolm McDowell, and I think the reason he gets so much shit is because you're comparing him to Pleasence, who was Loomis. I don't know what it was. I think the two, Loomis and Pleasence, they just married up to each other perfectly. I think this is the role that Pleasence waited a lifetime to play. And boy, did he nail it with this one speech. It was beautifully done. And it just sends chills down your spine. It's really the first thing that got me obsessed with the franchise. Just this thought of this 6-year-old child murdering his sister. And the way Pleasence explained it, beautiful, just beautiful, chilling. Number 5, H2O, the scene where Laurie screams Michael. She's gotten her son out of there, and she's gonna finally confront him face to face. This is a great freaking scene. Grabs the axe, she's walking up, and then she just screams Michael. Come and get it. Let's do this. I'm sick of this mess. It's such a great. I wish the rest of the movie could have lived up to how great this freaking scene was, because it's amazing. And it cemented Laurie Strode as a badass up to this point, because she's not really a badass. She's not a badass at all in the first movie. From that scene on, she was a freaking badass. Number 4, the opening of the first Halloween. It's such a great shot. It's one take, camera coming down on the house. It's the point of view of young Michael Myers. We don't know that though at this point. We just think it's a killer staring at a house and seeing his sister making out with a boyfriend. The scene is constructed so well. You can tell that they put so much work into this scene. It's all planned out. They literally had to come in and paint the house. And this was the last scene shot in the film. And the work is there. You can see the effort put into this scene, and going up and killing his sister, shocking. And then when he comes down and his parents pull the mask off and it's a 6-year-old child. Insane. That scene is so great for so many reasons. Just the technical ability of it, and then also the payoff. To do all this, to do this one take shot. If you screw up once, you got to do it again. And by the way, it's actually 3 takes because there's like 2 cuts in the scene, but it looks seamless. That's what they were going for. So to do all that and then have that payoff where, right away, first scene in the movie, the audience is like, whoa, holy shit, it's a kid? Go on. Yeah, great scene. Top 3, here we go. Halloween 4, the ending. This is the scene that literally scared the shit out of me. I had nightmares about Myers for years after this scene. We think that Myers is finally beaten. He was shot down the shaft, but then we see the mask go on and we think it's Myers, at least I did. And then we hear that scream. And I think that scream is what really sent the chill. The scream and then hearing Loomis look up. And again, that freaking acting, just, no. And he's like screaming. And oh my God, I remember just being, like I couldn't even get out of my chair. I was scared to death. I think it's arguably the scariest scene in the franchise. For me, it really is. Like, wow, that's a scary scene. Because it's innocent. Seeing a child, she's got the freaking scissors in her hand, blood. Oh, what a scene. Number 2, Halloween 2. It's time, Michael. We already talked about the gunshot to the eyes, but this drives it home. Loomis, he's telling Laurie, get out now. And he's got the lighter. He's turned on the oxygen. He knows he's giving his life. I'm done with this. I have to put an end to this guy. And, you know, he tells her to run out. It's time, Michael. And he lights the match. And wow, what a freaking scene. And then you see Myers like coming out. He's on fire. You know, he never stops. He's evil incarnate. I think from that moment on, you know for sure, like 100% for sure, Myers is not human at all. And then number one, what could it be? Halloween 1978, the ending. You know, this is the message that Carpenter wanted to send, that evil never dies. After all this nightmare of a night, you know, Laurie Strode is a basket case. Her friends have died. She thinks Myers is dead because Loomis, he shot him 6 times and he fell off the balcony. How could he live? There's no way, you know, because Laurie Strode's thinking he's just a guy. And then Loomis looking over and he looks down and, you know, Carpenter told him you could play it 2 different ways. You could play it, I knew this would happen, or you could play it like, oh shit, I'm surprised. Like, wow, I didn't expect that. And he played it the right way. He played it like, yep, I knew he was evil all along. He's gone. And what a scene, what a scene. You know, he looks down, Myers is gone, and then, you know, we just see shots of the places that we've been over the course of the last hour and a half, you know? And that's the message. Evil never dies. We did it, that's it. Top 50 moments of the Halloween franchise. How'd I do, guys? Let me know in the comments if I missed some like gargantuan scenes that you love. And I'm sure I missed quite a few. Like I said, I had like 70 on here and I had to make some cuts. It was tough. But you can tell my voice is going. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go to the Drumdums store, get you a Fuck Off Wade t-shirt if you want. Come over to Killer Flicks where we talk horror all day and every day. And on Fridays, we do Free Fall Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. And it's time, Michael.